It's been 26 long months since the nightmare of Hurricane Harvey. Nearly 40,000 homes destroyed. Who can forget it?
We need help. We need help right now. They got a whole family out there in the water. And people is drowning. I seen 3 dead bodies. Lord, please help us. Oh my God.
The Houston Chronicle headline is right. The disaster still hangs over the ballot box this month. Mayor Sylvester Turner has simply refused to level with you about what went wrong after the storm. He's a veteran politician who wants you to vote believing reports of pay-to-play corruption in the aftermath of Harvey are a fantasy. Turner's campaign, the other guy, is like Trump, but it's Turner giving you fake news, pure fiction, and we shouldn't let him get away with it. In the wake of the hurricane, the city calculated more than 8 million tons of debris on the ground. Whatever the real number, it was a disaster. The Houston media has strangely ignored a key fact. The debris cleanup took weeks longer than it needed to.
I absolutely think it should be investigated.
John Jensen runs an environmental firm in New York. The mayor solicited his company personally to come to Houston to help the city after Harvey. But after a few weeks, Jensen's nearly 60 huge trucks were idling, burning gas, with nothing to do. He was pleading for more places to clean up, more work to do.
So, do I blame them? Yes, I do. I have no doubt whatsoever. It was very obvious that there was some favoritism at play and that certain companies were giving very, very large areas in numerous zones.
One company with that exclusive deal was DRC. Sylvester Turner had accepted campaign contributions from a DRC bigwig when he ran for office. The Homeland Security OIG is now investigating the mayor's campaign cash from disaster companies for possible violations of federal law. But you won't see that in the newspaper that's endorsed Turner. The Houston city official in charge of the debris cleanup resigned just weeks after the storm. Did you know that? He was frustrated with delays caused by disaster contractor Tetra Tech. Tetra Tech was put in charge of monitoring the debris cleanup to make sure we didn't get ripped off. No other company has profited more from Hurricane Harvey in this city, $22 million.
2 employees of Tetra Tech, the company hired to clean up radiation at that San Francisco Superfund site, have just been sentenced for prison for falsifying records.
Tetra Tech is now immersed in scandal, accused of falsifying virtually all of the invoices in a big $300 million California Superfund cleanup. But Mayor Turner, he hasn't asked for an investigation of their work here after Harvey. Instead, Tetra Tech was just given a $4.9 million contract to handle debris monitoring for the next storm.
What I want to do today is show you how we slice our pies.
How is the pie getting sliced, and who's getting a piece of the pie? Isani Consultants, owner Bobby Singh and his family, have given the mayor more than $59,000 in campaign contributions.
And we're going to slice all the way through here.
Another slice of the pie goes to TLC Engineering. Company president Tony Council gave Turner another $5,000 just months before the vote. And they've got a Turner buddy as their lobbyist, Dallas Jones.
Houston's housing department wants to hire a company called ICF International to find Harvey victims and get them federal grants. It's a proposed contract worth $35 million of your dollars.
We are ICF.
The mayor awarded a Virginia company, ICF, a $35.7 million contract to screen disaster victims for housing. ICF, they chose Barry Barnes' law firm to get $6.7 million in the deal. He's the mayor's former law partner. Guess that's a coincidence, too. And look who else is in the deal. TLC Engineering again. It's not just the campaign cash from the hurricane that should alarm Houstonians. Have you seen the spiraling costs of the Northeast Houston water plant? That raises my old red flag. This summer, the mayor increased the cost of that water project by a whopping $900 million without a single public word of explanation.
Item 27, discussion. In favor, opposed, granted on 27. Show Councilmember Travis voting no.
$900 million in just 8 seconds. So let's cut some more pie, shall we? Those contracts include Cindy Clifford, the chairwoman of Turner's inauguration, Pat Strong, his campaign fundraiser, Paul Cannings, another former legal client of Mayor Turner's. And one of the big beneficiaries is IMS Engineers. They're from Jackson, Mississippi, but they must really care about good government here in Houston, because IMS officials, they've given the mayor $83 grand in contributions. Let's dig deeper, shall we? And just look who decided to open up an office in Jackson, Mississippi. Dallas Jones. It gets more curious. Even though IMS has cashed in under Sylvester Turner, the company suddenly felt the need to add a lobbyist in January. A guy named Don Aaron. I've been blessed to get paid to tell Houstonians the truth for the last 4 decades or so. Sometimes the truth is ugly, sometimes very controversial. But that's what we're about to do now. Tell you the truth because history matters. I'd first seen Don Aaron's name decades ago while investigating Sylvester Turner in 1991 when he first ran for mayor. We had learned one of Turner's legal clients, a hairdresser named Sylvester Clyde Foster, had faked his death right before he was supposed to surrender to the Secret Service on fraud charges. Turned out to be a scheme to collect millions in insurance money for his friends and family. But Foster was found alive in a Spanish prison.
Prison, Spain. Prison, Spain. Prison, Spain.
Dwight Thomas stood to make more than $1 million in Foster's death.
We wouldn't have dealt with him at all if we'd known that he was doing something out of the ordinary, beyond the premise of the law.
Where'd we find Thomas? He was sharing a house with Sylvester Turner during the campaign.
That guy died more than 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, he's not dead.
As far as we all know.
We'd already seen Dwight Thomas's name before in a salacious 9-page sworn affidavit filed by Turner's wife Cheryl in the heat of their brewing divorce case. Who else got named in that affidavit? Don Aaron. And Cheryl Turner's words then may be very important now. I've also heard that Don Aaron has made statements about having the goods on Sylvester. He has implied he has unbecoming photographs. Don Aaron didn't return our phone calls. But Aaron's also been busy trying to help a company wanting a future piece of the lucrative city airport contract. How do we know? Aaron emailed Marvin Agamagu of $95,000 intern fame. The mayor's official calendar reports the meeting, but Aaron's sworn lobby report doesn't mention it. Look, it's nice to have old friends. At Game 6 of the World Series, lots of folks saw on social media that Turner was sitting with attorney Michael Harris. He's named in that old affidavit too. This is the campaign connection. Harris has had a piece of 6 City Hall contracts.
And that's how you cut a pie.
Thomas Jones was in that old affidavit too. He was the mayor's first campaign manager, and now his company helps internally audit the mayor's city spending. And we're not done. Another name in that 1991 affidavit is attorney Darrell Carter. Look what Cheryl Turner said then. Quoting, "There's been suggestions made to me personally by Carter that he had control of Sylvester because Carter knows Turner's deepest, darkest secrets." 3 years after that affidavit, Cheryl Turner sat for a sworn deposition. And there it is again. Quoting, "There were things that Carter knew about Sylvester Turner and that he was therefore not concerned about Sylvester ever doing anything to him." Maybe it's just another City Hall coincidence, but take one guess. Who has more city lobby clients under this mayor than anyone else in town? Darrell Carter. Those 14 clients have $133 million in city business. Carter also got a piece of the airport contract. Cheryl Turner won't talk to me, but she's told others that she lied in the affidavit. It was stuff you say in the heat of a divorce that's not really true, and maybe that is true. But track just those names in that 28-year-old document, and you'll find a bonanza at Houston City Hall in 2019.
If you want to know what kind of mayor I will be, just take a look.
And the best is yet to come.